Hello and welcome to the Soulful Valley podcast. If you're a regular listener, thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. If you're new here and don't know me yet, I'm your host, Carey, independent publisher of books that matter and an international best-selling author, and of course, the host of this globally ranked podcast. I help metaphysical coaches and healers gain confidence, clarity, raise their visibility and their credibility, giving them the opportunity to shine their light brighter so that the people they are here to serve can find them. I do this by creating opportunities for them to become best-selling authors in my multi-author and solo book projects. I also offer one-to-one mentorship services to help spiritual business owners find and unlock their limiting beliefs. In this podcast, I'll be sharing wisdom from myself, coaches, authors and energy healers that could be just what you need to transform your life today. You can connect with me via the Contact Katie button at my website at www.soulfulvalley.com.
You gotta love yourself with all your heart. If you don't already, it's time to start. 'Cause nothing's gonna work out until you do.
Hello! In our current series, we're thrilled to host some of the amazing contributing authors from our book collaboration, Becoming the Manifesting Diva, Creating Ripples While You Flow, with 30 inspiring stories and a foreword by the renowned Dr. Joe Vitale. Becoming the Manifesting Diva is now a Amazon #1 international best-selling book. So thank you for supporting this book and for helping our authors become bestsellers once again. The book is now available on Amazon around the world. So go and grab your copy. We have some opportunities to collaborate with us too. Evolving on Purpose, the book series. We are also excited to announce our third book in this series, titled Evolving on Purpose, Akashic Journeying to Wealth Consciousness. This is not just a book. It's a spiritual growth journey for both the authors and its readers. If you're an Akashic Records expert, this opportunity is tailor-made for you. And we also have some healing offers. Explore my range of meditations and guided healing sessions designed to help clear your money wounds and blocks. Plus, don't miss out on our Akashic Co-Creation Activation to unlock your creativity. All these offerings are available on my Pensite page. If you would love a VIP service with a more personalised experience, connect with me through my website for a bespoke offer where I will support you holistically in overcoming challenges in your life and business. Remember, everything is interconnected. Links to applications and more details can be found in the show notes. And finally, if you've already read any of our books on Amazon or you're a listener on this podcast, please also leave us an Amazon review and follow and review this podcast to help us spread our important messages and help more people find solutions and help themselves. And now, let's get back to the episode you came here to listen to. Yana Weller is a dedicated wellness warrior, a functional medicine expert, and a brain health advocate. After a successful 15-year career as Vice President of Sales in a multinational high-tech company, she transitioned to pursue her deepest calling, transforming lives through holistic health. Yana has dedicated herself to focusing on the physiology of the brain and body as the foundation, specialising in the assessment and treatment of anxiety and depression and other mental health conditions. She utilises evidence-based approaches, addressing brain imbalances at their root, emphasising the importance of nutrition, metabolic health, mental health, and functional medicine principles to identify nutrient deficiencies and hormonal or gut microbiome imbalances. Having empowered over 1,000 women to reclaim their inner peace and self-confidence, Yana helps break the vicious cycle of anxiety by uncovering the root cause of symptoms rather than applying temporary fixes. Her innovative brain-targeted neuronutrient therapy delivers essential nutrients directly to the brain, enabling profound transformations. The unique treatment approach combining brain nutrient therapy and lifestyle change has resulted in many of her clients who had lost hope in their battle against conditions such as debilitating anxiety, depression, and ADHD, seeing a significant turnaround in their lives without pharmaceuticals. Trained by Dr. B.J. Fogg, the visionary founder of Stanford's Behavior Design Lab, Dr. Fogg has provided Yana with a unique perspective. She seamlessly integrates his groundbreaking insights into her practice by combining brain-targeted neuronutrient therapy with Stanford's science of behavior design, which fosters emotional well-being and supports lasting habit change. Yana believes in the critical role of diet in mental health. Research strongly links poor dietary choices to mood disorders, anxiety and depression, and other neuropsychiatric conditions, highlighting the importance of nutrition in enhancing mental well-being. With her compassionate approach and expertise, Yana is committed to empowering individuals to take control of their mental health and thrive. Yana's mission is to break the generational trauma that was passed to her grandmother, her mother, and then to herself. She is here to break the chain by being there for her two boys with an open heart and pure love. Yana is a mother, a wife, a friend, and a passionate foodie. She loves her morning walks by the ocean, laughing, sharing, and hosting big family gatherings, her favourite nourishing moments. Hello, and welcome to the Soulful Valley podcast, Yana.
Hi, Katie. So happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here, Yana. Yana is one of the international best-selling authors in Becoming the Manifesting Diva. Yana, I'm so delighted that you shared your chapter, and the work that you do is really important. Can you share with our audience a little bit about who you are and some of the chapter that you shared?
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for this opportunity to be able to share my story and to be able to actually write a chapter in a book. It's very, very exciting for me. It's my first experience writing a chapter. So thank you so much for that.
You're so welcome.
So I'm a brain health expert focusing on the connection between nutrition, metabolic health, and mental health. So I actually look into the root causes of mainly anxiety and depression and help people I work with to actually heal the anxiety once and for all.
That's incredible. And your chapter in the book, do you want to share a little bit about the story that you shared?
Yeah, so my chapter is about a little girl that is walking on eggshells, just looking to be accepted and to be loved for who she really is. It's about the challenges of going through childhood with parents that are very, very busy, with having social anxiety that is being there for the whole of her teenage years, and actually uncovering how this all unfolds into a very magical story, actually. And what I wanted to tell you is that when I was 30 years old, I actually discovered that kids until the age of 7, they are connected to a genius wave. The genius wave is actually the kids are actually in a theta brain state, and theta brain state is a certain frequency of the brain length, which actually connects us to the divine. So kids until the age of 7, they can actually manifest in a really, really simple way anything they want. And I didn't know that, but you will actually be able to discover in the chapter how this all unfolds in my own life. And in 2018, when I discovered the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I actually really drilled down into all the concepts of how our brain and heart coherence work, it all made sense to me. All the dots started to connect. And I'm so excited for people to actually read the story and have a small glimpse into that magical life of that little girl, and to get hope, because there is hope, and hope is one of the most important aspects of eventually becoming the person you want to become, because our personality creates our personal reality, and where we place our attention is where we place our energy. And I really wish for ladies who read that chapter to be able to place their energy in the right spot in order to be able to fulfill the most potential.
Thank you, Yana. What I loved about your chapter as well is that so many women will be able to relate to this little girl and the things that you went through, because it's in a lot of our stories, our early stories, especially women, and how you eventually manifested your dreams is similar to me as a small girl, because as a small girl, I put it out there that I wanted to be this actress and singer. And it happened by the time I was a teenager. And it happened from a background that anybody would look at and say, that's not possible. But now I know what I know through discovering people like Joe Dispenza myself. And all of the other people that have been on my journey over the last 15 years, is how powerful children are. I can see it in my grandchildren now as well. Obviously, I didn't have this knowledge when my children were growing up, but now I'm looking at my grandchildren and how beautifully magical they are. And how their energy is just so incredible. And I look at them and I think, did I once have that energy? It's just, when you look at them, they are magical beings, and the people that stop that magic are generally the adults around them, which is quite sad, because we don't know we're doing it, and we don't realize that's what's been done to us until later on when we come across this sort of information. So Yana, how do you help women in your world? I know it is women that you support, isn't it?
Yes, I have been blessed to be able to help over 1,000 women to actually break the vicious cycle of anxiety and get back in control of their mental health, and actually manifest love, manifest great relationships in their families, because we as women, we have a great impact on our families, on our kids, because we are a reflection. Actually, we have a very, very deep connection with our kids. And oftentimes our kids actually absorb what we're struggling with. So when the mother is actually struggling with anxiety, oftentimes it's being reflected on the kids as well. So I'm so blessed to have all this beautiful women and this community where I have been able to actually help them not only improve their own mental health, but actually see how this magically affects their surroundings, their environment, their kids, their families, etc. So what I do is actually I look at the root causes of what is actually causing anxiety and depression. And there are over 20 underlying root causes that unfortunately no doctor or psychiatrist will ever look at. And when we actually uncover the root cause, we can actually help the body because our bodies are designed to heal. And if the body is not healing, it means that there is a certain barrier, a certain blockage that's preventing it from healing. And when we know what the root cause is, we can actually help the body to do its work. So we look at the metabolic health, at the brain chemistry, at inflammation, genetic SNPs, and a lot of other aspects that could be contributing to the person having certain symptoms. And Katie, it's amazing. The moment we uncover the underlying hidden root cause, the results are just incredible and they're quick. Because the moment you know what the body is trying to actually tell you, because anxiety, depression is actually our body's sign. It's an alarm system. A body is trying to tell us something. Something is going on, please help me. And as soon as we know what the body is trying to communicate to us, we can help the body. First of all, by nurturing the brain and nurturing the body, allowing it to do what it's designed to do. And it's designed to heal, it's designed to serve you. It wants you to be healthy, happy, joyful, and abundant. So my method is based on natural, proven solutions. I do not use any medication. And I really help people to find that golden middle where the body is happy and their new lifestyle is also being integrated into their day-to-day life, where they can actually sustain it for the years to come in order to be and to stay healthy and happy.
Yana, a lot came up for me while you were speaking then. One thing, I don't know if you know, I used to run a mental health charity for 7 years. So a lot of people came with all sorts of mental illness, but also with depression and anxiety. And once people have that label on themselves of anxiety, they seem to hold on to that label and think that that is who they are. But you've seen many people move beyond that. So is there anything that you'd like to say to that label that people are putting on themselves, that they believe through a doctor's diagnosis that they're anxious, and the first thing that is shoved at them is medication, which I've got health conditions and I do everything naturally myself because I witnessed what medication did to my body that made it worse. And I know a lot of people believe that the only way to deal with their anxiety is through medication. So is there anything you'd just like to say to that?
You know, Katie, there is so much research that shows that our brains are really unlimited machines, okay? We are unlimited and we actually can rewire our brain chemistry. And while the limiting beliefs and the labels that we put on ourselves actually eventually define who the person is, because as I said, our personality actually creates our personal reality. So if I identify as someone with anxiety, as someone who cannot go out and work, as someone who cannot take care of my kids, then eventually that's what's going to happen to me, right?
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly, exactly. However, brain plasticity is there, and we can actually rewire our brains into the new identity. So, and this is one of the pillars of my 6 weeks program, is where we work on mindset, where we work on actually shifting those limiting beliefs, and step by step, okay? It's like tiny baby steps where we build that new identity. And what I want to tell you is that a lot of people go to therapy, okay? They go to therapy for years, and they go to therapy, they talk about what happened to them, they talk about the abuse and the misery and this horrible feeling in the heart that's heartbreaking, and they cannot move beyond it, because unfortunately, if there's something physiological going on in the body, we cannot talk ourselves out of it just by talking about it. We need to actually help the body rebalance whatever physiological disbalances there are. Meaning that if we see that the body is actually struggling with hypoglycemia, and hypoglycemia is very, very abrupt drops of blood sugar levels. And when our blood sugar drops, our brain goes into an SOS mode. And this could trigger anxiety. And if someone has hypoglycemia and they're not aware of it, they would think, okay, I have anxiety and this is who I am. But the moment we uncover that it's hypoglycemia and we can actually help the person to balance their blood sugar, all of a sudden, there's no anxiety. So this is one of the physiological causes of anxiety. So unfortunately, through going to therapy, we cannot actually fix the hypoglycemia or a sensitivity or a disbalance in brain chemistry.
And thinking about the theme of our book as well, what we focus on expands. So the more we're focusing on what's wrong, the more we're attracting of what's wrong. So that's another thing. The more we believe, the more misery we attract, don't we? Another thing about anxiety that I think I want to talk to you about, because you're the expert in anxiety, is I believe, looking at myself and other people that I've watched who have physical issues going on in their body, who have been working for years in the spiritual field with all the spiritual tools, with their mindset, I'm aware myself that my mindset is really powerful, and I can do a lot of things and create a lot of things, but my body tells a different story. So there is something. So although it appears that I don't think I'm anxious, there is actually something going on in my body where my body is anxious, my body is scared, my body is disconnected from my mind. So there are subconscious beliefs there that people don't realize. They think they're okay, basically. They think they've done all of the things, but they haven't, because in their outer world, like me, I'm still disabled. Have you had any experience with clients where you've broken past that barrier, where anxiety isn't something that they would tell you that they have because they don't think they have it, but their body is showing that there is something going on there, that underneath there is anxiety playing out?
So when you go into fight or flight, when we are anxious, our body actually goes into fight or flight, into sympathetic nervous system. It's when the brain perceives a threat and it's a perceived threat, right? Our brains are there to protect us. And when the brain perceives that threat, it actually focuses on protecting us. And we are designed to actually perceive certain time frames of stress throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the year. However, when we are in that survival state 24/7, the body goes into, you would say, hibernation. It's when the animal actually goes into a dead mode. It's actually when we get numb, when we cannot feel anything anymore, when we can't get ourselves to do anything anymore. And the survival state actually creates a snowball effect. And this snowball effect eventually can bring us to all kinds of autoimmune and chronic conditions. And recently, I've started working with people with Parkinson's. And Parkinson's is, unfortunately, it's a disease that there is no medical cure for it. The science has not really found anything that can really cure Parkinson's. And I have to tell you, Katie, that I've recently received a message from someone I work with, and she said that she has never been as happy in her life, and that she has never slept that well in her whole life, and she's 52 years old. Okay, so by combining the work of working with the mind, working with the physiological root causes, we can actually shift how the person feels, how the person thinks, and how the person actually shows up every single day. I'm not sure if I answered your question, so
Yeah, I think you did. Another thing I want to ask you about is your Instagram channel. Now, when we first met, you didn't have a presence on social media at all. And before I knew it, you had started an Instagram channel, and now you've got thousands and thousands of followers on that channel. You produce reels regularly. I think it's daily. Is it daily? And they're very educational, and they're mostly around nutritional tips. So I'm guessing that you do use a lot of nutritional education within your coaching as well as, yeah. Do you want to talk a bit about your Instagram channel, how that came about, and why you're sharing what you're sharing in video format?
So actually, I've had great feedback and great success with people that I worked with for the last 7 years. And I was thinking, okay, how do I actually get the word out? Because I have something magical in my hands, okay? I can actually help people move the needle, get back in control of their lives, start living a normal life again without any pharmaceuticals, without spending tons of money, and without spending their whole life on actually healing. And it was important for me to get the word out, and I thought about like social media, and I thought, okay, I'll start an Instagram channel and I see what the feedback is. And I actually started posting about nutrition, about simple science-backed tips on how to actually overcome, deal with anxiety on a daily basis. And for me, it's very important that it's simple and easy. because I've studied with BJ Fogg from the Behavior Design Lab at Stanford, and he actually is an expert in behavior design. And what I learned is that as soon as the behavior is easy to do and it has an emotional charge to it, this behavior will be easily adopted by a person into a habit. So for me, every single tip I give, it's a simple and easy tip that can actually help the person in the moment. So that's what I do on my Instagram channel. I give this simple, very, very effective tips. I give tips on how to manage the physical symptoms. I give tips on how to actually feed your brain and feed the whole body in order to rebalance in terms of inflammation, in terms of sensitivities, etc. And I also talk about my experience. And the feedback has been amazing. Like, this page has grown from 0 to almost 20K now, within like 5 months.
Yeah, it was astonishing.
Yes, yes. And the messages I get every single day, I sometimes sit there and just cry because people are so grateful. Um, just from being and following the simple tips. They experience amazing transformations. They sleep better, they feel better. And this is my purpose. This is my purpose, to actually bring this information out there for because we're going through a mental health crisis, okay?
Absolutely.
And this mental health crisis is affecting not only adults, it's also affecting kids. And unfortunately, it's like a domino effect. And 37 million antidepressants are being prescribed in the US per year in a 10-minute doctor visit, okay? 10-minute doctor visit. And these SSRIs, they tell them, okay, come back in a month and we'll see how it's going. They come back in a month and then they've been told, okay, you have to raise the dosage because it does not work for you. And it really makes me really, really sad, because if someone would ask them, what are you eating? How are you sleeping? Are you exercising? Do you have a family to share your struggles with? The picture would be totally different.
And I can tell you, as someone who ran a mental health charity as well for 7 years, that people were eating rubbish. People had distressful relationships. Everybody that came, there was something going on in at least one relationship in their lives. There were root causes that weren't being addressed, and the medical system didn't know what to do with them, because they were referring them then to me, to come to me for mindfulness and Reiki and other things, because they just didn't know what to do, because what they were doing wasn't working. So they'd go on waiting lists for counselling for over a year, and I'd watch people who would come to the mindfulness sessions with me and the holistic therapies, who were improving and doing really well, go backwards when they went to see a psychologist or a counsellor after the year-long waiting list they've been on. So it clearly doesn't work, but the system is struggling so much, particularly in the UK, that they just don't have any other options. They just don't know what to do. And it's sad. So I do think your work is important. I know a little bit about what you do, because we have a mutual acquaintance who referred you to this book, and he's also been on this podcast in my first series. So I know what the things that he was doing could help people, but not enough people understood it, or would go against what their GP might tell them, which is also another really sad thing, because your GP doesn't really understand mental health. They're a general practitioner, so they're not an expert in mental health. So the systems don't work, and there are things out there that could change your whole reality. So people like you, Yana, that are really pushing this forward as your purpose. You've written a chapter in this book to get it out there even more. You've built a channel, you're creating educational tips for people. You're the kind of person that people need to be coming to with these issues, because you've got some real solutions for them. So I applaud you for doing what you do. And I hope that more people pay attention to what you're teaching. Yana, is there anything else that you'd like to share today?
I just want to tell you that it's not that there is hope, because there is a new actually movement in psychiatry that is called functional psychiatry. And there is a group of psychiatrists from Harvard, from the US, that actually see the connection between our nutrition, our metabolic health, and our mental health. And I hope that this movement will grow and these people will get more and more attention, because they're really there, and they're psychiatrists, okay? They are the people who people go to get those pills.
Yeah.
And these people say, okay, before I give you the pill, I want you to make small lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
I want you to look at your diet. Let's try it. And this is amazing. This is transformational. And I think that there is a lot of hope. And I think that we will be able to actually shift the whole perspective on mental health. It's just in the beginning now. And I hope it's going to get more and more exposure, and more psychiatrists and people from the medical world will actually be exposed to this knowledge. And our aim is to help, right? We want people that come to us to be healthy, to be happy, to be fulfilled. And I hope we'll be able to achieve that goal.
Thank you, Yana. This has been a wonderful interview. We will put your Instagram link in the show notes. Is there anywhere else that you'd like people to connect with you? Is that your main?
Instagram is the best. Instagram is actually the best way to connect with me. Follow, learn about yourself, connect to yourself, and have grace with yourself. That's the most important thing, because our nervous system actually heals in stillness. We cannot heal our bodies when we hate them, when we push them. We need to have grace with ourselves, with our bodies, and to be kind to ourselves.
That's a beautiful way to end this. If you're listening to this episode, please share it far and wide, because this topic it's so important to both myself and Yana, and because we do know that there is an epidemic of mental health going on in our world at the moment, and there are things that could help people. So thank you again, Yana, for a wonderful interview. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Katie.
You're welcome. Bye.
So ask yourself, is this for me? Give yourself some boundaries. Learn to trust your intuition now.
Thanks for listening to the Soulful Valley podcast. I trust that you will have heard something today that you were ready to hear, and that it's made you feel a little lighter, more aligned and connected with your soul's purpose, and you have been reminded of who you really are and the true nature of the power that you hold within you. My aim for this podcast is to bring love, light, wisdom, raise consciousness and ease suffering. If you've enjoyed the show, go back and listen to some of the back catalogue of previous episodes. Subscribe, follow, rate and review, so that you're notified when new episodes drop in, and share this podcast with anyone that you think it may help to listen to. You can connect with me at soulfulvalley.com, and if you scroll to the bottom of the website, there are links to my social media platforms.